Right, I just came out from a call with another family that visited Expo 2020. I spoke to around three of them, three families that actually went to Expo. And see, now the thing is, if you go as per newspaper, they will say, oh, Expo 2020, big success, massive crowds and all that. But it's always good to get a perspective from someone who has been there. Now, given the fact I'm in Samui, I can only give you a third-person perspective. So I make sure that the people I talk to are people I know and trust. Okay, so this is what has been told to me by people going to Expo. Number one is the infrastructure was simply amazing. It seems the buildings, the roads, they could not believe that this place didn't exist before. That is what most of them told me. They're like, it looked like a brand new city. So kudos to UAE and Sheikh Mohammed. They built a city from scratch. Okay, number one. Number two is, it seems the parking. It was a nightmare because there were too many cars and too many people, and it was quite a quite a difficult situation getting a parking spot. And mind you, this is people who went in the evening. Okay, it seems the buses, there were frequent buses were coming and buses were going, so there was transport that was happening every while, and even the buses, it seems, were full. Okay, next one, it seems when they went there was security, there was people welcoming and all that. But now the security, it seems, was not bothered to check or anything. Like, for example, you have to be vaccinated in order to attend this place. So when the guy showed his phone and said, I'm vaccinated, and the guy didn't even look. He's saying the guy didn't even look at my phone. He said, yeah, okay, go. So it looks like as of now, these guys are not doing their job proper. They're just saying, yeah, go. Then another family told me that when they asked someone for directions, where is what, where is this, where is that, it seems the guys were new. Each one gave a different answer. They asked one guy, where is this? They said this way. He asked the other guy, he said, I don't know. Third guy gave another direction. So it seems most of the staff is predominantly new. I asked them how many locals were there many locals. They said it's predominantly expats, very few locals were there. I was also told that you're given a passport, a nice little booklet, where wherever you go, you get a stamp, whichever pavilion you enter. And the funny thing was, there were some locals who were just running to pavilion, put stamp, yalla. They put stamp and then they don't even go in. They go to another one. Then another feedback that I got, which was pretty surprising, was it seems many pavilions are not open. Many of them. Quite a number of them were closed. And it seems they're going to open after October. Some are going to open after October 20th, 15th or 20th. It seems the Israeli pavilion was not open. They gave me 2 or 3 names, I forgot. It seems many pavilions were not open. Many restaurants were not open. Many places were empty. And so that I was not actually surprised, because whenever you have such events, yes, you can pressurize the local population, you can pressurize local businesses, but you cannot pressurize global countries and companies. They're not going to be afraid of you. Then one of them even told me there are 156 pavilions advertised. So I asked, how many pavilions did you visit? Like, did you visit 20, 30? Like, I thought at least 20 you could. The common response was, Loy, we visited 5, 7, 4. That was the range. So obviously the next question came, why did you visit so less? These were the common responses I got. Number one is, it's too damn hot. So I said, you went in the evenings, right? All of them went in the evening. Saying, yeah, Loy, even you go in the evening, it's too damn hot. We were drenched in sweat. And one other one was, my children were too tired. Another one said my wife couldn't take it, and so I was like, oh, okay. So it apparently is too hot. The second part which they said is it's huge. It seems it's massive. It's not a place where you can just travel and go everywhere. You cannot do it in one sitting, one visit. You'll have multiple visits. So imagine if there are 156, how many visits you have to make? Maybe 40, 45. So if you have to visit all. And each place when you go and visit, it seems there's a presentation that they give. Okay, there's a long present. And if you stay for the whole presentation, then you cannot visit more than three in a day or, okay. And then I asked them, what are they presenting? So as of now, roughly what I got is they are advertising their country, come visit our country. It's in, one of them was Finland, was talking about coffee you can make from the air, you can make carbon dioxide, you can make coffee or something. Then Finland or Denmark, they were talking about if you stay in our country and these are the benefits you get, or if you visit our country. So each country, each pavilion is advertising its country, what do they offer. More like, visit India, visit Pakistan, visit this, visit that. Okay. I asked them, are they showcasing any new products? So apart from that coffee concept, it did not seem there was anything. Then obviously my question went to, is there any B2B, business to business? They said, we didn't see anything. We just saw people coming and wanting to take photographs and visit places and visit pavilions. There was excitement, but there was nothing like business or conference. Okay, maybe it'll happen, off when all this is not happening. I asked them the pricing. The pricing, it seems, shawarma sandwich was $25 or something like that. Juice was 20, so pretty overpriced. Like what you can get for $1 or $2 outside, 1 dirham or 2 dirhams, you'll be paying 20. So it's understood. Then I asked them, our local Emirati families, say they were spending and they were eating and they were doing their stuff. So maybe they're getting a discount or some perks or benefits, or maybe they are just wanting to enjoy with the family. Then I then asked, would you go and visit again? Almost all of them said, yes, we would go visit again, but not now. They said they would go and visit after November, when things would more open up and it would be a little cooler, because it seems it was too humid, too hot, and it didn't make any sense. Then I also asked, do you think the crowds are going to pick up or is it going to decline? The answer was, which I suspected, November, December, Jan will be the 3 months where they'll get the maximum crowd because it's cool, but after that it'll just decline and die out. And I'll give my analysis on what I also feel. See, given the feedback that I got, what I realized, number one, which is still confusing, is what exactly is this expo? This was a question that I asked almost everyone. What is this expo? What? So the answer that they gave me visiting there, it's just an event where countries advertise, come and visit us. These are the attractions. This is the nice looking stall. That's about it. It's just advertising the country and the services and attractions. There was nothing more than that. Okay. That's what they told me. Then, as I was thinking about it, I realized people will only visit in the evenings. Nobody is going to visit in the afternoon or in the mornings. Just imagine it's going to be dead. Because who wants to go at 40 degrees heat, man? 40, 45 degrees heat. Who wants to go? Nobody will go. So now if nobody goes there, just imagine you've set up your stand, your stall. You're a decision maker. You're standing with a suit and tie. You're saying, see, this is my monument. Have a look. But now, there is nobody. There's just nobody coming. How long will you stay there? You'll be like, man, I'm more productive back home where I'm doing some work. So you might as well keep a junior staff. You keep someone who's young staff or junior staff, just tell them, you take care, anyone comes, you give them service. Now imagine if there are people who are dancing, people who are singing, people who are performing, and you're performing to a non-existent audience. At some point you'll be like, what the fuck? You'll be like dead. I mean, see, I have been a stage performer. I've been an announcer. I was a DJ. You enjoy when there's a massive crowd. You enjoy when there is energy. You enjoy when there is a packed audience. But if you have a small venue and it's packed, you enjoy it. But if you have this massive venue and few people, the psychology of an event, you'll not enjoy it at all, because you look at the empty spaces. It really sucks out the energy. So this place is so big and you don't have anyone there, you're gonna be, what the hell, yeah. And I'll tell you, just think about it. It is 6 months long, this whole event. 6 months. If it was 1 day, if it was 3 days, maximum 1 week, oh, the energy would be there, the people would be there. Oh, if we don't go, it's going to shut down. But now when you know it's going to be 6 months, no hurry, yeah, I'll go later. This is the challenge. And what will you do every day? What will you do every day, every hour? Let's say you have a Turkish dance troupe. Who will you perform for? Nobody. You'll just dance, you'll sing, and you'll get discouraged. See, even decision makers are not going to be there waiting, sitting, nobody is coming. You will just pack up and say, okay, junior staff, you be here because we have to be here. You do your thing and we are going. In fact, the only time a decision maker will be there is when there is a decision maker coming to meet them. See, overall, what do I feel? Overall, what do I feel is UAE jumped at the opportunity for hosting Expo 2020 to show its leadership capacity, to show its prowess. Okay? But number one is they made a mistake. I'm telling you, they made a mistake bidding for Expo. Because Expo, look at the history of Expo. How many Expos were successful? How many Expos? Hardly any. Out of the history of Expos, I think there was just 1 or 2 which were successful. Maybe the Paris one, I can't remember. But remaining all other countries that hosted Expo was a disaster. It destroyed the country. Don't take my word. Google search. Check history. History never lies. The second one is, whichever country bid for a global event, like Olympics, they've ended up going bankrupt, minus China and USA. Okay? What happened to Greece? What happened to Spain? In fact, just Google search empty Olympic stadiums. You'll even see in these cold countries that they build this infrastructure for skiing and all that. They are just totally empty. They're deserted. Even China, the stadiums that they build, they're not using them at all. So now you're talking of Expo that advertises sustainability. How will you make these buildings sustainable? How will you make this infrastructure sustainable? Simple example, look at the world islands. Is that sustainable? Look at the Al Hamdan airport, Sheikh Hamdan airport. It's empty. It's so big. It's monstrous. It's bigger than Dubai airport. It's bloody empty. In fact, Dubai airport itself hardly has any passengers. I got so many photographs of it being empty. Hardly anyone is traveling. So how is it sustainable? What are you going to do when after 6 months, when all the pavilions, everyone, they leave and go? You'll rent out office space so far off from the city. Who's going to travel so far off? So here's another question. And then the maintenance for taking remember Motor City, Sports City? They were advertising, we'll have 2-3, when Motor City and Sports City came out with Bukadir, they showed the photograph, that is before they delivered the project, 3 mega stadiums. One is with cricket, one is with football, one is with world events. I remember when it was launched. And you staying close by, you can attend the stadiums and all that. After it was built, one stadium was built in Motor City or Sports City. They had one cricket match there. They had Narendra Modi Come down there, it was a full house. What other event is being held there? By the way, since IPL is going to be held in UAE, that can be a bit of excitement. But apart from that, what are you going to do for the rest 365 days of the year? You have to maintain this. You have to take care of it. You have to clean it. You have to function the AC and everything else. Others will die, man. See, sustainability is a big question. And then, in the excitement to show off, we can do this. Dubai has become like, they're just building and leaving it dead. Like that Chinese company, construction, Evergrande or whatever. You're building a building, a city, and it's a ghost town. The world islands, you put so much of sand in the water. Tell me what has happened there. The Palm Island, 1, 2, 3, you put sand in the water. Only one palm is existing, and that also maintenance cost is crazy. You have so many shopping malls. Tell me one thing. How many of you have gone to Wafi shopping mall? How many of you have gone to Burjuman shopping mall? How many of you have gone to Arabian mall? How many of you have gone to all this? Majid Al Futtaim has so many shopping malls, city centers. You might have only gone to Dera city center or Dubai mall. How many other malls will you go and visit? Expats themselves don't visit because one day that they get free, they want to go to a place where children can go eat food, watch a movie, shopping, and go back home. Nobody's planning to go to an empty shopping mall. And these malls were dependent on tourists. There's no tourism. US is still made it difficult to travel. UK has made it, I don't know, they keep jumping up and down. Europe has made it difficult. Australia is totally closed down. New Zealand is another story. Who's traveling? So now the only people you can target is China and India. And then if one virus outbreak, by the way, it seems when people are in Expo 2020, there was no social distancing. There was no wearing masks. Some people are wearing masks, some people are not wearing masks. They're checking. They were just showing, oh, I got vaccinated. They showed something on their phone. Ah, okay. See, if you get sick, vaccination is for free. Hospital stay is not for free. I even know cases where 3 days hospital has been 25,000 dirhams. 25,000 dirhams is roughly $8,000. Okay. The vaccination may be for free. Hospital stay is not for free. They are going to charge you a bomb. That's why these pharmaceutical companies and hospitals, they're very happy. They make money when you're sick, man. Come on, when will you understand? Diabetes, blood pressure, heart-related illness. These doctors make money when you're sick. If everyone was healthy and nobody went to the hospital, they would have to shut down. It's a known fact. Plastic surgeons, doctors. See, all this brings revenue. Hospitals are a business. They're not a charity firm. Anyway, this is another part. And see, in a conclusion, what I would tell you, my analysis is 6 months is too long. This is one mistake. 6 months is too long. It should have been 1 week, maybe 15 days, fine. Second one is, they put billions of dollars in ads, billions of dollars to construct the buildings and infrastructure. That same billions, instead of building all this bullshit, just imagine you keep it as a separate budget and you say, I'll pre-qualify a buyer. I will pre-qualify a buyer. The guy who has money to spend, I'll welcome him. I'll take care of him, bribe him, give him everything and make sure that he gives business to us. That would have been a more intelligent way rather than having this big, my sausage is so big, 6 inches, 6 feet, 6 kilometers long, look how big, mighty, hard. And you're bringing in useless, jobless, worthless public. Take photo, stand there. Okay, the stalls and the pavilions are beautiful. Very nicely done. I've seen some of the photographs, really nice, some of the videos. Very nicely done. But you go to it seems Oman, the pavilion, they're talking of having plants on the moon. You can't fucking make your own economy survive. You're driving away expats. You're going through so much of shit. Your own Local population needs jobs. Plants on the moon. Who are you fooling, man? Plants on the moon. Everyone's having this sustainable theme. At some point, you listen to everyone, then you'll be like, okay, enough, yeah. You go to Indian pavilion, visit India. You go to Pakistani pavilion, visit Pakistan. You go to, it seems in one of these pavilions, they went to Angola or something. I can't get the name. It seems him and his wife are the only people there. Full pavilion, only him and his wife. Nobody wants to come there. Angola, I think. So I told you, first 6 months too long. Second one, they made the mistake of allocating this money, which is a total bloody waste. If it was me, I'll pre-qualify the customer and take care of him. Each one pre-qualify. So I know, okay, I have, let's say I have 100. Suppose my budget is 100. Instead of spending 100 for unwanted stuff, I'll allocate 10 for 10 potential investors. And I'll pre-qualify. Are you investing? I'll spend this money on you. You're not going to invest? Fuck off, I'll get someone else. That's the second thing they should have done. Third one is, you have all this infrastructure, buildings, and you're talking sustainable. Who's going to bear the cost? The government. So how will you recover the cost? Tax people, charge people. And then what is the only solution? Okay, please come and occupy, I'll give you for free. But then you make it inconvenient for people. They have to travel with petrol, they have to go all the way. You're wasting energy, so what is sustainable? Okay, then next one. After all this hula bula, and one is you have to bring people. You're not able to do that. Then the decision makers who are there will be like, there's nobody, there's no people, there's nobody, so why should I be there? So now you have, one is you have to get the headache of bringing people there. Second one is you have to have the headache of, having the decision makers there. Now, if you can't get people, these people will not be there. Very simple thing I told you. Just imagine the whole day. From morning, it seems 2 o'clock they close. From morning till evening, you have to stand there. Nobody is coming. Only in the evening, maybe few people will be there. Maybe 10,000. This place is so big. 10,000, 156 pavilions. Each one maybe 100 will go. Okay? Now, what are you going to do? Wait the whole day just for these people to come in half an hour or 1 hour? Whole day you're going to spend? If you are a busy person, if you have money, if you have responsibilities, are you going to spend the whole day standing there waiting, nobody coming? No, you'll get bored of it. And in the end, I'll tell you what is going to happen. People are going to eventually say, man, this is a bloody waste of time. You guys be there. When you finish, shut down and just go home. And at some point, people are going to say, it's dead. Best example I'll give you is, what is that? Dubai Summer Surprise, Dubai Festival City, Dubai Shopping Festival. Who goes there? Tell me. Who goes there? Shopping Festival, who goes there? Summer Surprise, who goes there? Who? Nobody. It's all empty. And one last thing. UAE needs tourists. If UAE doesn't get its tourists, you cannot survive. Look at this island. I'm walking every day. Who's here? Nobody's here. How do you survive? You can have there's one place, they have this amazing burger. They advertise this burger. It's around, I think, $10 or $15. Amazing burger. I wanted to see what it was. I went there. Really beautiful. The decor, the ambience. It's a global brand. I'm not too sure. They have even a $200 meal for two, and expensive. So I stood there, looked at everything. I saw nobody. In the end, I was like, if I have this one burger for myself, might as well go to Burger King and order for the whole family, right? So thank you, because nobody was there. And then I saw the staff, nobody, they're all sitting down, each one is looking at his smartphone, they're doing nothing. Why? Because there's no tourist. And outside that road, the whole area, full darkness, because all the shops are closed. That place used to have so many tourists, there was no place to walk. Today, It has been 18 months. There's not a single tourist in that area. That was the only shop open. How can you survive, man? So overall, what I feel, which I predicted 5 years ago, you can check my prediction video. Expo 2020 was a financial disaster. Check my video. 5 years ago, I predicted. And I still say it today. It's a financial disaster. It's a mistake that they made. Yes, it's nice to take photographs. It's nice to see pavilions and happy. I told you, opening ceremony was great. But as of now, the only thing which I see is, it is just a place to go with your family, take a few photographs. It's too large, so obviously you'll take multiple trips. But nobody is going to go now because majority is closed. Okay, so they'll start in November, December, January, maximum crowd. After that, dead in the heat, nobody goes. Nobody wants to die. Because even in the nights, it's hot, you'll be sweating. And eventually, just like summer surprise, shopping festival, it'll die out. And the worst part is, it seems the Western media is not covering Expo 2020 at all. It's only UAE and the Middle East. So anyway, this is the feedback that I got. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. And yeah, if you guys have any footage, photographs, videos, anything that you can share, please do share, because I like to give the actual, this thing, not what they show in the magazines, not what they show paid media. I like to show actual footage. And give me a balanced view. If you liked it, say you liked it. If it was great, say it was great. It'll be nice. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. And remember, yeah, plenty of paid actors will be there to fill up conference rooms and business meetings. Because at the end of the day, if you're organizing an event, you can't show nobody has come, right? So this is what the feedback that I got. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, please do share photographs and videos. It's me signing off. Just take care. Ciao.